Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well and staying safe and healthy during these times. This is Radhika here again, and this video is going to be about discerning which belief is yours versus which belief belongs to the narcissistic person or the narcissistic group that you have stayed with for a long time. And guys, I'm trying to talk really loudly in this video, so I hope you all can hear me clearly. I unfortunately don't have a mic to speak in, but yeah, I will consider buying it at some point. But also, my voice is a little bit low. Like the pitch of my voice is a little bit low. I don't have a very high pitch voice, so it sounds a little bit like it's a little bit low, the pitch of my voice, so maybe that's why you can't hear me very correctly. I would suggest, if you have earphones or headphones, try to hear me with that, and that will make it a little bit easier, hopefully. So yeah, so having said that, this question was by a subscriber called as DMDM. um, so I basically separated it out in three parts, which is discerning which energy belongs to you, which belief belongs to you, and which behaviors belong to you versus narcissistic person or group that you have been around. So first, let's understand that why is it that when a narcissistic person is around you, or if you are in a narcissistic group while growing up, or if you are unaware, if you're an empath who doesn't know about all these things, why it is so possible that you get influenced by these people. So, empaths, by their very nature, are very absorbing of energy around them. And by energy, I mean everything like beliefs, thoughts, behaviors, thought patterns, gestures, small micro expressions that people make. Empaths actually observe and absorb a lot of it. Absorption happens when the empath is really not very cognizant of what is empathy, if they are an empath, what is energy, etc. If they don't know about all these concepts, very easily they will pick up on things and absorb them. But if you are more knowledgeable, if you know things like about all these terms, about how energy works, etc., you are more uh, it's more possible that you observe it but you don't absorb it into your own system. So, but why is it that this happens so often? So, by nature, an empathetic person is more absorbing. He or she is more receiving, or they, whatever the gender is, they are more receiving. And by nature, a narcissistic person or a narcissistic group is more projecting. So they project their beliefs, their energy, their thought patterns, their words, everything, whatever they have, they project a lot of it. So they are the ones who want to cast the illusion, and the empath is the one who's kind of trying to, like Neo in Matrix, they are trying to like um move through this illusion that is being created around them. So that's why, by nature, empaths absorb a lot of energy, and that's where this question comes from, like what is mine and what is theirs. Because when the energies merge together, the empath really feels it, because the narcissist is so busy in projecting things that they don't really absorb much. All that they do is they project, project, project. They don't have so much of capacity to self reflect or understand the energies that are coming into them from outside. Mostly they don't even allow energies to come in. That's why they don't learn things, that's why they keep on repeating their patterns. So actually it's a good thing that empaths absorb energy, because that helps the empaths grow a lot. And a lot of growth is through pain, but at the end, if you actually surpass the pain and if you understand why it pains, then you actually grow in life. So that's why narcissists don't actually absorb energy, but the empaths will. So that's where the question comes from, that when you have absorbed energy, which was my belief and which is something that I picked up from someone else. So let's talk about beliefs now. So, belief is like a deep seated thought that you have. It's not like any other thought that you have. It's a thought in which you believe with a certain level of confidence. You know, you have confidence in this thought. So, for example, if I have a thought that the sky is blue, okay, if I have this belief that the sky is blue, and in all my paintings I make the sky blue, so what that tells me is that I believe this to be true. And so it's a bit difficult for me to one day start painting my sky purple, because I actually have to reprogram this belief that I have that the sky is blue. Now, like this is a very simple example of what is a belief. So, when you have lived with narcissistic people for a long time, you will have certain beliefs. And this is actually not just narcissistic people. If you have grown up in a family or a culture or a society, you will definitely have beliefs. And these beliefs are something that come from your family, your school, your culture, your race, your religion, your country, etc. etc. You know, and even some things that you absorb from the surroundings. Um, so they can be these beliefs that you have, they can be about race, religion, education, finances, relationships, spirituality, self esteem issues that you have. And all of these are more or less something you have picked up from other people, or your surroundings, unless you have had like a real awakening where your ego has really been shaken and you were in a state of not knowing who you are for a long time, and then you reformed your ego after your spiritual awakening. So if you haven't gone through that phase, then give or take 80 to 90% of your beliefs are probably something that you have picked up. And this is not always picking up from a narcissistic person, but definitely if you grew up in a narcissistic family which was very cult like, because that's how narcissistic families are, or if you grew up in a family where alcoholism or some kind of an addiction was a problem, or if it was like a trauma based family where people were extremely unconscious, spiritually unconscious, who did not know how to handle their emotions, etc., it's very likely that because of the cult like nature of this family, unless you awoke very early in your life, you must be carrying a lot of these beliefs inside of you. So, how do you know which belief is your own and which one is something that comes from your narcissistic family or your narcissistic spouse or whatever narcissistic component you had in your life? So, to understand that, you first have to you first have to realize which thoughts are the ones that you really cling to. You know, which are the thoughts or which are the topics for which you are ready to go to fight on, you know, like you are ready to fight on them. Like if I'll just give you a simple example. If there is a fight happening between these two topics, one side says homeschooling is the best, and the other side says no, I have to send my kids to private school, and say there is a third party who says no, I we should only send kids to public schools. So if you are in this situation and something in this really triggers you and you are on one of the sides, say you are on the homeschooling side, and you are really fighting this side, so you have to, if this is the situation, then you have a very deep seated belief that homeschooling is the way to go. So then you have to ask yourself, why do I have this belief? If I'm ready to fight for it, anything that you're ready to fight for, you have to ask yourself, why am I ready to fight for this? Why does this matter so much to me? And then you kind of backtrack from there, and you think, okay, maybe I am for homeschooling because I went to a public school where I went through this trauma and that trauma, and I don't want that to happen to my kids. So then slowly you start realizing this belief that you are clinging so strongly to is coming from some trauma that you have had as a child. And why did you have that trauma? Maybe because your parents were really not paying attention to you. Maybe it was not a problem with the school. Maybe it was a problem with you not being safe to communicate with your parents in your own house. And so you have this belief that homeschooling is the way to go, maybe because the narcissistic family believed that public schooling is the way to go. So you just go the complete opposite direction, which is like, no, I'm not going to send my kid to any school. I need to have them homeschooled. So it your belief can sometimes be in complete contrast to a narcissist's belief, if that is what has created trauma in your life. And similarly, if you grew up in a very cult like atmosphere, you could have a similar belief, like you could believe homeschooling is the best because maybe you were homeschooled and you don't exactly know why you have this belief, but you have this belief because it is something that you always heard while you were growing up. Everyone in the narcissistic family was praising homeschooling a lot. So that is why you have this inbuilt belief that homeschooling is the best type of schooling. So I'm not really even assessing the truth of your belief. That's not the point here. We are not really judging that whose belief is the correct, because ultimately every belief is just a belief. It'll be true for you, but it could be false for someone else. So the point of knowing this is that, is this belief really yours, or are you still under a conditioned state where you are taking someone else's belief and believing it to be yours? So that's why when you analyze something that you're ready to fight for, you will actually understand where that issue stems from in your life. And then you can actually sit down and think about it, that okay, maybe my narcissistic family believed this, and that is why I'm totally against it. So is my being against it just an act of rebellion, or does it hold any water? Does my belief actually stand if I check the facts logically? So then you can actually analyze your belief. And if it is true, then that's great. Then, it doesn't matter what the backstory was, because now you have verified your belief to be true. And that's good for you, because now you'll make a good decision with that belief. And similarly, if you feel that, oh, actually, I was just acting out of rebellion or out of, some uh, nastiness within me or some anger within me, and that's why my belief is actually not really true. I just wanted it to be true because that gave me a sense of fighting back. So you can reach either of these conclusions, and then the best thing that comes out of this is really that you will form your own belief. You start as a clean slate. Whatever the narcissist person has projected on you, say you're a blank canvas and you have all these projections from narcissistic groups or society or expectations or whatever. Now what you're doing is you're kind of like changing the paper on the canvas or changing the canvas itself, and now it's a blank canvas, and now the person projecting on the canvas is going to be you. So you are the canvas and you are also the paints on the canvas now. So it's all like you're doing now. So you might go with the right belief or you might go with the wrong belief, but at the end of the day, it will be something which is unconditioned from the outside. It will be your own experimentation with this belief or that belief, etc. So in this case, like in the scenario that gave an example about above, you might make three columns, like public school, private school, and homeschooling. And you might actually decide to write down pros and cons of each of the ways of schooling your kid, and you might come up with a completely different result than you were thinking of before. So so that way it's that is like one way that you can actually understand which of the beliefs that you have is yours versus which one is others, which one is something that you picked up on or absorbed from a narcissistic clan. And to do that you need a lot of presence of mind. So when you get like really riled up and you want to fight for some cause or some idea or belief, you really have to sit down and think, why am I so riled up? Why do I want to fight this so much? Why can I not let it go? Why can I not just ignore it? So it's not like I'm saying it's good or bad that you get riled up, but it's that when you get riled up, there is something behind it. There is something that needs to be explored, and this is the technique to do that. So, like, just in an ideal case, I will tell you, when a person is healed, what kind of beliefs that does this person have? So, reality is a very wise person does not really have very strong beliefs. To be frank, they have wisdom, they have a lot of wisdom, but they don't have a lot of beliefs. What they believe is, we should form a belief based on the situation in which we are. You can't have very strict, like, do this, do this, do this. No, you have to be open to analyzing every situation, because every situation you have in life is going to be different. So there's no set rule that you can apply on every situation. And that's how a wise person would think, because a wise person would know that they don't know. The most wisdom you can have is to know that you really don't know anything. You are figuring out this creation, because this creation is ever changing. In every moment the creation changes. So if something is changing in every moment, how can you know it? It's unknowable. It's ever expanding, ever contracting. So the real wisdom is that every moment of life is different, and in every moment you have to take the best decision that you can in that very moment. So there's a very funny um, incident about this. So I don't know if you guys know Eckhart Tolle, but he's a very well-known, like, you can call him a guru or whatever. Like, he's a spiritual teacher, and he had an interview with Oprah, and Oprah asked him, like, so Eckhart, what are your core beliefs? And he said, none really. And she was really surprised at that here's like a spiritual master who's like supposed to be enlightened. He has so many followers, so many people really like look up to him. he has saved so many people's lives like in certain ways. Uh, so so she opened her interview with that question, like, what are your core beliefs? And he was like, nothing really. Like, I don't have any core beliefs. So it's I find that very funny. And if you read about Zen masters, you would get like so many such situations where it's like an enlightened Zen master, and when you talk to them and when you ask them about their beliefs, they're like, mm, I don't know. Like, they don't have any beliefs because they know that there's no use of having any very very strict or very core beliefs. So yeah, even when you watch these videos on narcissism and how to recover from them, I would say that keep your mind open. It's good to get information because it helps you navigate through life in a good way, but don't form your ego identity around the new information that you have. Like all these terms, empath, narcissist, etc., these are just terms, and we use them because it helps us communicate. Otherwise, it's very hard to communicate if we don't have these terms to explain things. So, these are in the end just terms, and don't take these to heart. These are just to make it easy for people to understand things. So yeah, that was this video on how do you discern which belief is yours and which belief has been given to you or programmed into you by the narcissistic environment around you. So I hope this video helped you in some way, and as always, I'm so thankful to all of you for supporting this channel, for commenting, sharing, subscribing. If you want to become a member of this channel, please do so. It helps me, it helps support the channel. There's a link down below this video which you can click and join, and then you get some free content, you get free updates on the community tab every day. um, and as always, I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.